We just made 2 wholesome, family-friendly analyses of stories about the importance of friendship. So, why don't we switch things up a bit?
I'm blowing my fucking load, God! Oh!
Meet Frank. He's a sentient, fully autonomous hot dog and he doesn't believe he's food. Wait, didn't we just fucking do this?
We're all very impressed with Andy's new toy.
Toy?
T-O-Y. Toy.
Excuse me, I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
Take us to the great beyond,
where we're sure nothing bad happens to food.
This song is such an awesome way to start every morning.
It's just a super nice way of showing the gods how much we appreciate everything they'll do for us once they take us out those doors to the great beyond.
I guess it's just the season for delusional inanimate objects, huh? Well, it's gonna be real unfortunate when he finds out what happens to hot dogs when they are chosen from the store and taken to the great beyond. At least they didn't try and disguise this one as some silly kids movie because Frank's entire character motivation is that he's just trying to fuck. Yeah, that's it. He just really wants to get purchased by the human gods so him and his boys can break their plastic seal and destroy some fresh buns.
But once we're out the doors, it's not a sin
for us to let you slip it in.
Oh! In other words, we finally get to fuck
and love
and fuck
and hug
and fuck
and feel.
By this time tomorrow, we're all gonna be 5 inches deep in some buns, son. Ba-bam.
Oh my God, yes.
More like 3 inches deep for Barry, you deformed nerd.
Meet Barry. He's a special kind of short king.
Ignore that prick Barry, he's full of shit. And don't forget, you've got girth. That's way more important than length.
Is it though? Is it really? I mean, you can try and make your friend feel better, but you don't gotta lie to the nigga. You know for a fact Brenda wouldn't fuck with you if you look like Barry, nigga, so don't lie to your friend, bro.
No. Ooh. Oh yeah, go in there. Oh, put it in there.
Oh yeah, meet Brenda, Frank's girlfriend. She's like really in love with him.
I can't believe you got out of your package for me. You would have gone to the great beyond. You'd be there right now.
There is no great beyond without you, Frank.
I'm sure you already deciphered that the great beyond is their version of heaven because the whole movie is essentially a very on-the-nose allegory for religion and how God may or may not be as benevolent as we might perceive him to be. There's a lot of philosophical ponderings on the relevance versus redundance of keeping yourself pure and fresh for Jesus and the notion of waiting to marriage so God doesn't punish you for engaging in your perverted sexual urges.
The gods must be punishing me, don't you see? This is what I get for giving in to my disgusting urges. I'm such a whore.
Boo, you whore.
Frank is what you would call a religious skeptic. He wants to believe in the sanctity of his faith, but he's also not afraid to seek out alternative ideologies when they are presented before him.
We're not supposed to understand the will of the gods, Frank. They work in mysterious ways.
I'm just saying, since we base our whole lives on the song, it might be nice if there was some kind of proof.
His girlfriend Brenda, on the other hand, is a religious purist, so she's not even remotely interested in entertaining the idea that everything she believes in is a lie, which is understandable because nobody will be jumping at the chance to have an existential crisis after realizing that all those many years of abstinence were in vain. The plot gets kicked off when Frank and Brenda get chosen by this MILF, but this traumatized honey mustard guy jumps off the cart because he's been to the great beyond. He's seen what happens to food when they get chosen, and he's not trying to go back.
The gods are gonna hear you talking about them.
Gods! They're monsters! Horrible, ugly, disgusting monsters!
They ain't gonna get honey mustard twice.
Fuck you, gods!
So, he takes the plunge, causes some chaos, then Frank gang gets stranded. Their plan is to make it back to their aisle, force their way back into some packages so they can be pure and fresh again, then hopefully the gods will have mercy upon them and choose them once more. But Frank's inquisitive ass finds out that it's all a scam, a big fugazi created and propagated by the non-perishable food products as a way to control the masses and keep them calm before they head off to be slaughtered. As credible as it all may sound, he's not quite convinced yet, so he wants to go to the end of the store to get some irrefutable evidence. But his religious purist girlfriend Brenda doesn't want to go with him, so they have a second act falling out and they go their separate ways. Brenda makes it back to her aisle and disfigures a bun in an attempt to force her way back into a package that she doesn't belong to. And Frank finds a cookbook that shows the gods just viciously murdering and mutilating him and his friends. He broadcast the evidence to everybody in the store, but none of them fucking believe him because that would be akin to telling a Sunday service, church-going, Bible-reading, daily repenting Christian that Jesus Christ doesn't love them.
I tried to warn everyone, but they didn't believe me.
Of course they didn't. You just called them all a bunch of fucking idiots. You can't just slam their beliefs. You have to show them that there's a better way.
See? Barry gets it. Yeah, Barry's been on a whole ass side quest this entire time. And while on said side quest, he found out that when humans take drugs, they gain access to the fourth dimension, which allows them to observe and perceive the movement and speech of the food products. So they just do what Woody did to Sid and reveal themselves to the gods, scaring the ever-loving shit out of them.
Stay away from my sausage, you skank!
The niggas predictably fight back as we humans tend to fear and attack that which we do not understand, but the food products obviously win because they have the numbers and it's their movie. So now that they've killed their gods and no longer have any moralistic obligations to preserve the sanctity of their aroused bodies and suppress their deviant urges, they all get to fucking. I would love to show an obscene clip out of context for the sake of comedic outrage, but I'm not particularly interested in putting in the additional work it would take to fight the inevitable age restriction claim that I wouldn't have to deal with if I didn't put the comically obscene clip in the first place. So, now that we've gone through this whole psychological roller coaster of trying to please our divine masters, figuring out they don't really give a shit if we keep ourselves pure or not, or at the very least that their intentions for our pristinely preserved pure perishable vessels are completely diametrically opposed to our best wishes, and then just doing what we wanted to do in the first place irregardless of any moralistic obligations that were, if you really think about it, actually primarily self-imposed, what do we do now? What's your next move? You watched this far, so I'm sure you'd like me to wrap it up nicely with a well thought out message regarding the ethics of abstaining from or giving it to your deepest, darkest, sexually perverse desires that will guide your decisions from henceforth. I mean, this is the concluding segment of an analytical MP4 video file that was digitally uploaded to youtube.com after all. Yes, I put .com in the script. And I've presented myself as a somewhat trustworthy, entertaining, authoritative figure in the field of which I speak. It's only natural you'd expect me to provide some revolutionary and resolutionary insight that concisely wraps up the overarching thematic elements of the subject of the analysis that would make your monkey brain release the cathartic dopaminergic chemicals required to give you that sense of temporary satisfaction and closure, only to then stab you in the back and reignite the urge to click on the next MP4 video file digitally uploaded to youtube.com, recommended to you by youtube.com in a never-ending cycle that only breaks when you fall asleep on your side by 2 a.m. with your phone in your hand. So, what should you do today about your own personal sexual urges? I don't fucking know, nigga. I made a tiny dick joke at the start of the video. The fuck do I know about what you should do with your life? I made you laugh and kept you engaged for a few minutes. That doesn't mean I'm your dad now. I'm in my early 20s, nigga. Go make your own decisions and give me money on Patreon. I never understood a single word he said. But also, Barry got to fuck the bond that Brenda disfigured at the start of the third act.
You know, I love the way your face just kind of gives up halfway down.
So that's nice. Anyway, subscribe to the Patreon for Weird Spectrum? Yeah, Weird Spectrum. My weekly Patreon exclusive podcast where I review movies and answer your questions. Whew. Well, this was fun. Subscribe to the Patreon, link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next analysis.
If you fucking tell anyone about this, I'm gonna deny it, bro.
Hey, yo, bro, what the